Good evening, I'm Byron Scott with a CTV News update. Maryland's COVID-19 numbers continue to surge as the state reports more than 2,000 new deaths. Health officials have confirmed 2,018 new cases within the last 24 hours. An additional 15 Marylanders have died from the virus. Here in Prince George's, more than 37,000 county residents have tested positive for COVID-19. According to the state, more than 1,100 Marylanders are currently hospitalized and 270 people are in intensive care. Well, as the pandemic continues, new restrictions go into effect for restaurants and bars statewide beginning Friday. Keisha Butts is standing by at a Largo eatery.
That's right. Governor Larry Hogan says restaurants and bars must close indoor dining early on Friday to slow the spread of coronavirus. We're at Jasper's restaurant, which is just one of several eateries that will be impacted by this new order. Manager Philip Motley says the new curfew could impact business.
It hurts our employees financially. They lose a lot of money from closing down early. But hopefully we're able to open up for lunch next week. So hopefully that will offset the money for them. We'll see how the customers like it, because sometimes they don't like to follow the guidelines.
How has sales been impacted with customers ordering to go? Are they ordering the same that they would coming into the restaurant?
Not even close. We're probably 40% total of sales back, so we're able to survive. When the stimulus checks were out there, our business was astronomical. I mean, we were just crazy busy. Once the stimulus check stopped, it slowed down. Probably dropped by 25%, and that's where we've been ever since.
How else has Jasper's been impacted by the coronavirus pandemic?
The cost of doing business is more to do curbside than it is in your restaurant, because you have all the packaging that goes along with it that it's very expensive. Your shortage, that's the biggest problem with liquors, food, paper supplies, plastic supplies, they're running out constantly. So you have to be creative.
Governor Hogan says bars and restaurants are prohibited from remaining open for indoor dining or serving alcohol after 10 p.m., except takeout and delivery starting Friday. In Largo, Keisha Butts, CTV News.
Well, the mayor of Glen has been indicted. He's accused of secretly recording private conversations while in his office. Edward Estes is charged with violating the state's wiretap statute and misconduct in office. Estes allegedly made the recordings using his MacBook Apple computer while he was performing his duties as mayor. Under Maryland law, unless there is a legal exception, a person must consent before any communication is recorded. If convicted, Estes could face 5 years behind bars. A man found shot in a car in Fort Washington this morning has died. Police were called to the 200 block of Torres Drive at around 2 a.m. for a single vehicle crash. That's where they found the victim suffering from a gunshot wound. The victim was taken to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. Anyone with information about this case is asked to contact police. Well, kids in Prince George's County could soon have healthier meal options at restaurants. Yesterday, the county council unanimously passed CB 71, the Healthy Kids Meal legislation. The bill is the first of its kind in the nation to include healthier options for both food and drinks and will limit calories, sugar, salt, and fat. The legislation had diverse support, including Sugar-Free Kids, the Prince George's Food Equity Council, and the American Heart Association. Chief and Chef Antonio Gilkey specializes in healthy meal preparation.
I remember growing up and, we didn't want to eat the broccoli and, Brussels sprouts were just, boiled and put on a plate. And so it was understanding ways to make those things fun and, make them taste good without them being, slopped in grease and sauce drenched and everything covered in cheese. And so, and I have found, various ways to get my daughter to eat vegetables and, a little garlic and some balsamic and, little things that just kind of change it, make it fun, but it's still nutritious. It's a restaurant reform, it's something that my industry has to really kind of wrangle in because we are ultimately responsible for what we're putting out. The food that we produce it's the lifeblood of everything that we do, So, we love to go out to eat. We love all these things, but we're poisoning our children. And so I think this one is just like really important, especially having a daughter myself. Yeah, it's just something that's really important to get everyone on the same page.
Meantime, yesterday was the final day of the council's legislative session. Lawmakers took action on dozens of bills and resolutions. One of the more significant measures that passed was the extension of the state of emergency in Prince George's. That resolution gives the county executive the authority to impose and enforce restriction measures. It will stay in effect through mid-January. The council, meantime, has been meeting virtually since the beginning of the pandemic, which council chair Todd Turner says has its challenges.
Obviously, it changes kind of the interaction that you have. We're so used to, as elected officials, being able to see people and talk to them face to face and to our colleagues. So it has obviously shifted how we've operated. However, it actually has provided more opportunity for people to be able to view us because they maybe not be able to come to us physically, particularly when we're meeting during the day in committee sessions or council sessions. But now we see that people are following us more on the virtual platform.
The council returns on December 1st for the gavel exchange ceremony. Well, a shooting in Laurel leaves a murder suspect dead and a Montgomery County police officer injured. It happened yesterday afternoon. Investigators say the suspect traveled to the area after committing a homicide in Jacksonville, Florida on Monday night. Police say when they attempted to arrest the suspect, he shot at them. Officers returned fire, killing the man. The injured officer was shot in the upper body and taken to a local hospital. He's listed in stable condition. And police in Prince George's are investigating a fatal pedestrian hit-and-run crash. It happened on the 1700 block of Kenilworth Avenue at around 8:40 last night. The male victim was found unresponsive and taken to a hospital where he died. Anyone with information on the incident is asked to contact police. Well, two long-shot Democratic campaigns garnered millions in fundraising, and then the candidates lost their races. Could those funds have been used differently? It's a question one Democratic political strategist is asking. In the last of a three-part series, Raymond Glen discusses the dangers of relying on election polls.
Even though you saw, heightened support on both sides, a large part of the reason the polls again were off is just because it's very difficult to account for the model in a presidential where you have so many new people coming into the process.
Is there a danger for the public to be, dependent on these types of polls?
Oh, I think so. I'll give you one kind of short and small anecdote about it. Democrats were feeling very good about potentially taking the Senate in this cycle. Now they're at 48 right now. We're going to find out in January what happens with these two last Georgia seats. But $200 million, mainly in small donor money, went to Amy McGrath in Kentucky in her bid to unseat Majority Leader McConnell, and Jamie Harrison in South Carolina in his bid to unseat Senator Lindsey Graham. Those races were never close. Neither one of those candidates were ever really in striking distance of the Republican incumbents that were there. However, they brought in $200 million in small donor donations that could have flooded into state legislative seats, that could have aided Democrats in the 7 or 8 U.S. House seats that they lost. Not to mention in other battleground states that really kind of came down to a sliver.
Georgia rules call for runoff races when no candidate exceeds 50% of the vote during the general election. The two Georgia runoff races that Glen mentioned take place January 5th. Those races will decide which party holds the majority in the U.S. Senate. Well, if you were due a COVID-19 stimulus check from the federal government and haven't received it yet, time is running out. The checks which Congress authorized under the CARES Act varied from $1,200 for one person to $3,900 for a family of 5. The checks were sent out beginning in April. The cutoff to provide information to the IRS is November 21st. Up to 8.7 million eligible people have yet to receive their payments due to incomplete records. Individuals who normally do not file a tax return can register for their payment by going to irs.gov and click on the link that says Get My Economic Impact Statement. Well, as families prepare their Thanksgiving Day menus, one organization is gearing up to make sure that people who are sick and homebound get a delicious feast. Workers at Food and Friends are preparing traditional Thanksgiving Day meals. However, concerns about COVID-19 have forced the organization to scale back the number of volunteers. This year, only 200 will deliver Thanksgiving Day meals.
Traditionally, Thanksgiving has been a time for us to deliver this feast, and they can have their own loved ones, their caregivers. It's their opportunity to host, which they're not able to do throughout the year. And what's a little tougher about this year is I think, a lot of our clients are making the decisions that we're all making to gather with fewer people. Some of our clients are going to be, enjoying their Thanksgiving meal alone. And that's really sad to think about, but we still think it's equally important to, give them this meal and give them the opportunity to be thankful.
Food and Friends has been delivering Thanksgiving Day meals for the past 30 years. Well, grab your family and head to the Watkins Regional Park for the 34th Annual Winter Festival of Lights. There will be more than 200 displays, holiday displays using more than 2.5 million LED bulbs. The light show starts on November 27 and runs until January. Spokesperson Angela Waldron says there are plenty of new exhibits.
There have been new additions to coincide with the Nature Center, including birds and peacock displays. We have a Wizard of Oz section to coincide with the playground. The giant tree, it's just around 54 feet.
Organizers will collect canned goods for the needy at the Festival of Lights. Well, let's now get a quick check on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, clear with a low of around 27 degrees. Thursday, sunny with a high near 53 and low around 39. Friday and Saturday, sunny and warmer with daytime highs in the mid-60s and evening lows of around 43 degrees. And now for the community calendar. Attention parents, the Prince George's school system is changing its meal distribution schedule because of the Thanksgiving break. Meals for Thanksgiving week will be included in this Friday's distribution. There'll be no pickups next week due to the holiday. For a list of schools designated for distribution and for more information, go to pgcps.org. And that's our news for tonight. I'm Byron Scott. We'll see you tomorrow.
For the latest information on COVID-19 in Maryland, visit the State Health Department website. That's health.maryland.gov. Again, health.maryland.gov. Click the link to the COVID-19 information portal. There you'll find all the latest information about coronavirus. You'll find daily updates on cases and fatalities. Answers to questions about testing and the governor's stay-at-home order are available as well. For specific information about Prince George's, visit princegeorgescountymd.gov. That's princegeorgescountymd.gov. The site offers information about local services for residents and businesses. There's a link for COVID-19 relief donations. Also, food pantry locations are listed. And if you have any questions, call the county COVID-19 hotline at 301-883-6627. That's 301-883-6627.
You're looking at me in the future. Okay. Hi, Isaac.
Hi.
Wait a second. Do you know who I am? Julia. This is Jaina. Into the future. I just wanted to talk to you about what happened with those two girls. Oh, yeah? Do you remember it was this girl that I was getting bullied by that one day at PE when they were yelling at me, and then you just linked arms with me? I don't think you know how much that helped me, because I finally knew that I had somebody. Because of you, Isaac, and what you did for me years ago, I grew up to be more independent and love myself and just be a little bit more confident.
Aw, I'm a little tearing up right now. Just to see her in the future just blossom and look beautiful, and that was really amazing.
It's so sad. It's not.